Hello everyone, let's solve this cubic equation. We call it cubic because we see x to the power of 3. It is something more challenging than typical quadratic equations we see in high school. However, some of this can be more difficult, some can be less difficult. Quadratic equation has only power of 2. Cubic has power of 3, right? Cubic. This is a polynomial. It could be even x to the power of 4 or x to the power of 5, but we'll focus on cubic equation. So we can solve it by factoring. This is the easiest method. I'll show you in which cases factoring will work, in which will not work. Okay, so how to approach this? We need to divide this into two parts. We can write brackets here. So we'll factor out what we can before the bracket. So in this case, we can write that x to the power of 3 minus 2x to the power of 2. We can factor out x squared. And here we write just x, because what you have before bracket, you multiply it. So x squared times x is x to the third, to the power of 3. And that's why it looks like that. Then we write 2. Because x squared times 2 is 2x squared. Okay, we have the first part is done. Then we write minus. And what can we factor out here? We have 3x plus 6. We can factor out 3. So we write 3 and open bracket 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And here, what will we write? We can write a plus 2, because 3 times 2 is 6. But pay attention here, be careful with this sign. Should you write here minus or plus? Actually, you should write minus, because multiplication minus times minus equals plus. So let's use an eraser. Okay, and plus became minus will become plus. It will give the same result. So what you can see, minus 3x and minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. So now we have exactly the same. So this is very easy to solve, because we have two terms which are the same. We have x minus 2 and here x minus 2, which means that we can write it down only once. So what is left? We take this term, what is before the bracket, we join it together. X squared minus 3. So we write x squared minus 3. We can write it in brackets. We open another brackets. This is our factor form. We write x minus 2 equals 0. Here we forgot to write the equals 0. That's the form of our equation. So we already know that one solution is x equals 2. This is the first solution. We already have one root of the equation, because x minus 2 equals 0. It means if you move it to the other side, if you move minus 2 to the right side, it will change the sign to plus. So x equals 2. And now we need to consider this case. We have x squared minus 3 equals 0. Right, so this one has two solutions because we have square. So if you move it to the other side, it will be like this: x squared equals 3. So you could just take a square root of it, and it will be that x equals square root 3. Okay, but it is a cubic equation, so you see to the power of 3, which means that it will have 3 solutions. First one is 2, second one x equals square root 3. But we should know that minus 3 to the power of 2 is the same as 3 squared. Both equal 9, right? So in this case, you see that minus to the power of 2 equals positive number, and positive number to the power of 2 equals also positive number. That's why it can have two solutions. It won't be only x equals square root 3, but also x equals minus square root 3. So let me erase this. Just to inform you that if we take negative number to the power of 2, we obtain a positive number. Therefore, the solution is also x, so this is way too thick, x equals minus square root 3. And those are our three solutions. First we have x equals 2, x equals square root 3 or minus or negative square root 3, because we have expression to the power of 2. So it can be only one solution, but each time you see power of 2, you will have two solutions for the same number, positive and negative. And remember that if two terms are the same, just like here, x minus these two terms are the same, we don't need to repeat them later. We can ignore one. So that's why we wrote that this equals x. We took this number, x squared minus 3, and we took only x minus 2. We ignore two of them. We don't have to write them two times here, because the terms are the same. But if the terms, for example, if it will be plus 2, x minus 2 plus, we couldn't solve it this way. So always check if these two signs are the same. If the numbers are the same, then you can do it this easy way, that you take these terms before these terms which are factored out before this bracket, you join them together, and this which are in the bracket, you join them together on the other side. Then you solve this way. Okay, hope you found it helpful. Thank you for your attention. Next time I'll focus on more difficult examples. Bye.